My name is Will Bergman. I live on the Gold Coast and work out of the Gold Coast and in Brisbane as an actor, a film extra, and doing voiceover work. I have a small list here of films that I'm recently and currently working on. The one I'm currently working on is as a Vietnam vet. It's an indie film, and these are all dialogue films. I'm not mentioning any of the extras work at the moment. Another film I worked on was as a police chief in a small crime short film. I did some work for the John Norton Galleries in London from here, doing some voiceover work. It was a discussion about love and what it meant to me and my views on love. I did some work in Brisbane recently as part of an ADR loop group, doing a voiceover for a historical film. I've done a couple of bits of scene work with Griffith University in as Dr. Jonathan Steele in The Changeling and as Ted from Burn After Reading. I've worked on the Whoop Whoop Festival doing some reading to camera as a station owner, giving some background information about the festival. I did a short film as a violent husband for the Agape Homeless Centre, based in Tweed Heads, just recently. I did a video for medical specialists, informing them about special training that they could get, specialised training that would help to get them into the medical practice loop in Australia. I worked on a film called Arthur Blessed, where I was number 3 in the billing and played a priest, working there with children and other adult actors. Arthur Blessed won the QUT narrative film of the year this year, I think it was. Melbourne Fringe Festival, I did a comedy, not a routine, but short film there. Gazura was a film that I worked with a new director for York Film Academy, and that was me playing a grandfather to a young girl. I think there's a couple of clips of that in my show reel, which is on Star Now. Then I had a role in Herod, which is a type of historical film documentary, where I played the part of the older Josephus. I did a photo shoot for the elder abuse campaign in New South Wales, and Aquaman, where I worked as an extra, but got featured a little bit anyway. So that's my short history there about films. So I guess I'll just have a look at the script now and do some lines for that for you. From scene 1. The granddaughter, who is 5 years old, is playing with toys with her granddad on the floor. She's taken a shine to a kid's keyboard, which puts a smile on Granddad's face. That's me, who is a keen piano player himself. Incidentally, I forgot to mention that I don't really play piano, but I fool around a little bit on it, so I can make some chord formations. I play guitar. Mostly I have 3 guitars. I can create create chords on the piano, and I can read music a little. But, I wouldn't say that I could play at all, really. So anyway, so I'm with the little girl, my granddaughter, and her father comes into the room to pick her up, and Granddad prompts his granddaughter to play a song for him. Go on, show Daddy. She starts to play. The father says, I haven't got time for this, show me later. So Grandad starts to get up off the floor as he speaks. Come on, Jeff. She's been practicing all day. Let her show. The father gets irritated and says, I haven't got time for this. Okay, so let's have a look at scene 2. We cut to 5 years later. It's the granddaughter's 10th birthday, and she's with her father. The grandfather has bought a piano for the little girl. The granddaughter says to him, Grandad, I love it. And Grandad says, I'm glad. I can't wait to hear you play it. The father interrupts again. Where'd you get the money from that? There's some tension there. Grandad's okay. Mostly in scene 2, then it's the father saying stuff and Grandad stammering. In scene 3, the granddaughter, 10 years later again, is playing a duet with her granddad, and years of abuse have been kind to him, so he's seen here as vulnerable. And the granddaughter asks, "Grandad, are you okay?" And Grandad, "I'm fine, darling." "Are you and Dad fighting again?" says the granddaughter. And I say, "No, never. What makes you think that, darling?" Granddaughter, Just your bruises on your hands. I'm fine. Cup of tea?" "I'll make it," says the granddaughter. Little sweetheart. And let's have a look now. Scene 5. The granddaughter approaches me from behind, places her hands on my shoulder. At this stage, the grandfather's really deteriorated a lot. And the little girl has grown up a little bit. She can tell that there are problems there. So she says, she must know what's going on. So she says, "Has Dad been over lately?" And I shake my head. "Are you hungry? Cold?" she says. And I nod again. No. She says, "It's okay, I'm here, I'll get you help, Grandad, okay." Grandad nods. And then Grandad says, "Okay," in a barely audible voice. I guess in that scene, in scene 5, there's not a lot to say. It's nodding, it's expressions, and yeah. So that's it. So I guess I'll leave it at that. Thanks for the opportunity to read.